Mailbag. Let's fire right into it. Mailbag Friday. Haven't done one in a couple weeks because there weren't questions, so I didn't blow you off. I didn't break a promise. I just didn't have anything to say. So there was one of you who asked a question, and there's only one. So I guess I did lie. There was one question sitting in there last week, and I just didn't think it was worth to do a podcast for one show. That makes some sense, right? But that person was kind of waiting for me, and he commented, and I answered the question. So sorry about the delay. Bro. And even the mailbag really hasn't filled up. I guess there's that problem where it's like kind of not the easiest thing in the world to find the mailbag. But during the season, I'll have it linked to hopefully in all the daily notes and stuff. You can figure that out. But let's do one thing first for you paid subscribers. I wanted to point out that there is this. Let me share the screen here. There's a new hub, producer Lee, my buddy, brought up to me just the other day that the draft prep stuff is kind of scattered, and very true. It is there's not a one great place to go see all the draft prep stuff, because that's kind of the time right now, right? I think a lot of you people that are about to do home leagues and big drafts and stuff are looking just well, I remember I read that a few weeks ago. I mean, draft prep stuff's been coming out for months, so you're probably scrambling, searching, going to the archive and stuff, trying to find it. And there's just so many articles and stuff that it's all gets lost. So I put this post out there. It's in your inbox if you're a paid subscriber, or it's now pinned here. You can click that. It's called the Draft Prep Hub, and there's just links to everything there, all the main draft prep stuff. It's not everything by any means, but all the stuff I think is most valuable for your actual draft, it'll be there. You can also click 2026 Draft Prep here. Not the greatest screen share in the world here, of course, but at the top of the MLB Data Warehouse homepage, you see 2026 Draft Prep. That'll be up there until the opening day, right, when the drafts are done. And that just has all the articles. But again, even this, you're kind of scrolling, and then it's got to paginate. You don't even see it all. So you have to scroll before you search. And there are dozens of articles here. It's been a long, productive winter. But that's good for me, I think. I think it did a decent job. Maybe not the most organized, but I think I got more content out there than anybody else. Let's do the mailbag, because there are 14 questions. 14 questions. We'll start with Prop Geek Zeke. Big betting account. What's up, dog? You want to give me some money for my help? You let me know, dude. I got projections. I know all the money is in the prop betting stuff, all the betting accounts. That's where you go, but we're going to keep it real. I haven't read any of these, right? I scanned them, and I guess I read them very quickly, but I haven't done any thoughts. So we're going to answer these. We're going to think about them and answer them all in one go here. So Zeke says, favorite 2-3 turn in Roto head-to-head. Normal 5x5, but add OPS to 6x5, 10-team Yahoo League. Wow. So 6x5, the old uneven categories league. That is one way to do it, Zeke. Let's see. Let's get a screen up with the ADP dashboard. That one. You said 2-3 turn. So and it's Yahoo, so I don't even know if the ADP will follow 2-3 turn in a 10-teamer. So yeah, that'd be at 20, in the low 20s or so. So that puts you looking at kind of these names ish. We'll put this, like you said, Churio, Jordan, Kurt. So with OPS not instead of. So it's that is super interesting, because man, these dashboards do not share well. That's a real shame. Ugly stuff. 6x5, so more than 60%, or a little less than 60%, right? 6 out of 11. What's 6 out of 11, bro? Math. 55% of your categories are going to be hitters, so you should kind of favor the stud hitters over the pitchers. So the OPS thing, yeah, Jordan Alvarez is going to get moved up there. huge OPS over the rest of these guys. I mean, Shurio's not much of a slug guy, not much of an OBP guy. Jazz struggles in that as well, OBP, and he can slug, but OBP is nothing great. I mean, Schwarber looks pretty nice there. Alonso. So you're kind of looking. The steals are still nice. You said you didn't get rid of steals or anything like that, but you're to do average and OPS, you're double counting a lot of the batting average stuff, the ratios. So that definitely boosts up the high OPS dudes. Like Jordan Alvarez is the pick. You could argue for Nick Kurtz here. I think you could make that pick. If you think you're asking what I think, I guess. Like Kurtz was hurt last year too, but the worry with Jordan Alvarez is just that he can't ever stay healthy. That could end up being Kurtz too. I mean, it's not really fair to say that now, but he had an injury last year. Game for game, I would definitely take Jordan Alvarez. Kurtz has a strikeout problem. I don't really believe in him as a high batting average dude. Will the walk rate come way up for Kurtz? I don't remember exactly what it was last year. It's actually curious. I imagine whatever it was last year, I'd imagine it comes up just because pitchers are now going to be super afraid of the dude, and they are going to avoid him as much as they can. 13% walk rate last year, so he was pretty good. He had a 1,000 OPS last year. That's going to come down, though. He's not going to hit 290 again. I'm guessing 260 for Kurtz. OBP might stay at 370 or something like that, and the slugging should be really high, 575 or something like that. So I think it's Kurtz or Jordan, just depending on if you like the injury risk, if you like to embrace that a little bit more, or if you just want to play it a little bit more safe. But I don't know. I guess on balance, like Kurtz is safer to not get hurt, I suppose. I can't say that for sure. But Alvarez is safer to actually produce. I mean, that dude is such a monster. He's never been bad. He's just always hit crazy, crazy well. So, I'm taking Jordan Alvarez there. Let's do that in the third round Jordan, especially in an OPS league. Like, sign me up. I'm definitely looking to get Jordan in my leagues. If I can grab him in the third, second, third, fourth round, like that's pretty sweet this year. Let's do number 2. Zach Wax, our boy. What info is useful and what isn't on these pitcher cards? Yeah, pitcher cards. Talk of the day. I mean, they're not super new. I don't know who started it, so I guess shout out to whoever did. But if you're on baseball Twitter at all, you've seen them. The first person I ever saw doing them was TJ Stats, but I don't know if it was first. Maybe this pitch profiler guy. So I actually I grabbed a couple of them just to talk about this because it's a really good question, and it's a question. Zach Wax is a serious fantasy player. He's playing more volume in fantasy baseball than any of us. He's also an extremely cynical. I don't know, cynical. What's the right word? Like he likes to stir the pot and likes to question things and attack ideas and strategies, and even some people. He's never overly vicious about it. All fun and games. Again, another situation where you really can't see this card very well, and that's also a problem. This is Pitch Profile, MLBPitchProfiler.com. I'm actually a subscriber to theirs because they give the model results in an API, so I'm going to use some of that just for my own work. But we need to I need to get a better. We got to zoom in on this somehow. So I'm pulling it up on my own. So it's fun. I get, at the top here with Profiler, obviously just the result, 6.2, 405, 320. He's got the results there at the top with the whip and the K and the walk. So let me zoom in on this because this is, it's interesting. And they all do different things at the top, and everybody's got a card and they'll continue to come. But if I zoom in on that, I'm pretty much done here. I don't know, it's six innings. So in this example, you're not. We'll talk about this for a little bit, but if you're giving me a season, if you're looking at a guy's full season, imagine this is a full season and there's 150 innings. There's I'm good. I don't know. Give me the FIP, give me the K minus walk. Right? Maybe I would like to have XFIP because I kind of adjust for the fly ball stuff. But ERA whip, I don't really care about ERA, I guess, for looking backwards. But give me the innings, give me the K walk, give me the K rate, give me the walk rate, give me the best ERA indicator, which again I would prefer Sierra or XFIP or something like that. And then we go down. So like that's a good start. I like seeing that real quick. We go to the next little section. I'm actually so good with computers that I can just kind of throw this together. So this is interesting. This isn't fantasy, and maybe that's a point here with these pitcher cards. If you're not watching, you're kind of missing out on this. So I'd turn the screen on now. There is a distinguishing point that guys like Zach and myself miss out on, I think, a lot. That we're trying to, like, our entire goal for this is to find out how the pitcher will do this year or next week or next month or the next few months, because we want to predict the future and we want to use guys in fantasy to win leagues and to win bets and stuff like that. Like, we're in it for the money, for the fun, obviously, but we want to predict the future better than other people because we want to take money from them who aren't predicting the future as well as we are. This stuff means nothing for that. I don't care about the release point. I don't care about the movement of the pitches. I don't care about I do care about the frequency here. So let's strike that, what I started to say there. But release point, like, save it. I don't care. I guess the point there would be if the dude's arms on the release point. So I'll try to describe this for people not watching. Like, it shows every pitch with a color and where it was released. I guess if you have 4 different pitches all being released from the same point, this would show that. And that'd be good because it's tunneled better, harder to pick up on. Maybe. I don't even know if this stuff is even proven. But throw that out. I don't care. Movement profile. I got to circle back to my point I was trying to make, but we'll get there. Movement profile, it shows how the pitches move. Like, unless I don't care either. I don't know. I could see why somebody would. Like, you want vertical movement on the fastballs, you want horizontal movement on the slider sweeper, but I don't even know what's good. I imagine most people don't. Like, he's got this from the examples back here, because I don't even know. It looks like the light blue is a curveball. You have to look at the whole card to see the color coding at the bottom. You really have to, like, study these things before you can even see what's on there, which is, I guess, what we're doing now, but it's fun. So you can see the curveball here has more drop, and it moves. I guess is this the catcher's perspective? I don't even know. Tolly's curveball would probably move left to right from the pitcher's perspective. So it would break in on a right-handed hitter. So I guess I'm so confused. This looks like it's from the pitcher's perspective. And there's the arm angles there too. Yeah. So this would be from the pitcher's perspective. So whatever, it's cool. It's interesting to see it. And this is the difference. This is the point I was going to try to get to, is that there are some people that play for fantasy trying to predict the future. And there are some people that just like the art of pitching. And I think that's a lot of these guys that we think are talking about fantasy all the time are just like, they just like the pitching data, the movement, all this stuff's cool. And I kind of agree with that. I think it's cool to see stuff like real life things visualized in data visualizations. Not everybody does, but it's just important to note, I think, that none of this stuff isn't even always, all of it's not even being offered to help you with your fantasy leagues. Like, no one's even saying this is all about predicting the future. It's just kind of a descriptive thing. Pitch frequency is good. I like to see that's cool to see, because you see the changes in arsenal and pitch mix between lefties and righties when they're facing that, right? And that's really important stuff to see, because you have to know if a guy can get lefties and righties out. You have to kind of know how they approach things. You can't really say, it doesn't do you any good to say that a guy has a really good slider if the slider is only good against righties and he's about to face a lineup full of lefties. Hello, I don't know, Will Warren, whatever, those guys. Like, you have to kind of break it down left and right. A lot of these dudes, most successful pitchers, unless they're elite and don't need to mess with it, like most successful pitchers that aren't like crazy talented, top of the line talent, like, they need to be 2 different pitchers against lefties and righties, because just things work against the same side as you that don't work against the other side at all. So it's good to see that. And general points, it's good to see guys attacking the different sides differently. You will, like, very rarely see a guy throwing a bunch of sliders. So this is Tolley, and again, it was only 90. He's got 97 pitches this spring, so it's enough to kind of start looking at. But you can see that orange one, that's the sinker. He's only throwing that to lefties. Against righties, he's kind of loading up on, well, it's not the easiest thing to interpret either. 4-seamers, cutters, curveballs, changeups, and then 1 slider in there. So not the greatest example with Tolley, but there's some pitchers where that is a good example. I think the bottom part here is kind of what people focus the most on. Those are just cool visualizations and stuff, but really doesn't tell us much of anything useful about, like, what's going to happen next week or next month with the dude. Besides the pitch frequency, that'll give you some usefulness for, like, DFS or daily lineups when you're looking at the guy facing a lineup that is super heavy on one side or the other. Where I appreciate what some other people have done, and I just think that a lot of this could be cleaned up. I don't know, like it doesn't hurt anybody to have extra data here, but we got velo, we got spin, we got IVB, horizontal break, vertical attack angle, horizontal attack angle, VREL. Like I don't even know what this stuff is. I should, I guess, as like an acclaimed baseball analytics bro. Got arm angles, extension. I don't know why we need an extension for every pitch. I don't know, tunneling stuff, I guess. The whiff is here. He at least has one result page. I'm going to show the pitcher list one next, which I think is better. When I'm looking at these cards, it's like I kind of just look at the pitch frequency thing, the pitch mix splits against the different sides of the plate to see if this is a guy that might have trouble in platoon situations. But also four seam pro stuff plus, I think, is probably useful. Like fastball stuff plus is probably useful, but I don't know. I'd probably be totally fine. Not much would be different if I just had the velo either. I even went, so two issues. It's not really an issue. Again, like too much data is better than not enough, because if you don't care about whatever that third, those VREL, HREL, whatever, like I never look at that, but that's fine. It's not like hurting me to have it there, but it does attract it away from other things. So if I was making one of these, which I won't because everybody else is doing, I'm not going to follow, and I can't be a follower. I'd have a ton less on this. Let's show a picture list, because I did take a screenshot of this. So these are new as well, just much more aesthetically pleasing. And I really like how they, I think these are like pretty overrated for fantasy purposes. If you're playing fantasy baseball, like these aren't that important, but they're cool, man. I'm like, and this looks really good. So you can see the pitch plots there. I never get anything out of plotting the pitch locations. I don't really seem to, and it's just like too much. I'd rather see like a heat map or something, I guess, but I don't really care about that. But still, okay, cool plot. All looks really good. Start grade is cool. They've had some problems with that. They're fixing it, I guess. There's been they were like trending on Twitter, like they're like apology or whatever for their model being messed up, which is like totally fine. It's spring. Also said they didn't buy the Twitter followers, and I had accused them of that. So still, don't really believe them, but okay, it doesn't matter. Like buying Twitter followers, even if they did, and that's not like some ethical, immoral crime. So whatever, I'll take their word for it. But down here at the bottom, like I'm not going to zoom in on this one, but you can see there's just a lot less stuff. Pitch type with the color coded, velo, IVB, horizontal break. So, that's a strike rate, swing strike rate, CSW, and PLV stuff, and PLV plus. I don't really know what PLV plus is. I don't pay much attention. Nothing against Pitcher List at all. Like impressive work for sure. Great website if you're really into fantasy baseball. Like a lot of good stuff over there. This is a lot better. I like to see results. When you know me, when I'm breaking down pitchers, I'm looking at swinging strike rate, ball rate, velo. Like I like to see the more results stuff. This stuff's mostly like pitch movement stuff, which isn't results based. It's just like, and then there's all these problems about. I gotta move on from this question, Zach. Thanks for killing half the podcast. There's like 12 more to get to, but I've talked about it before. Like stuff models are trained on the past, but then hitters adjust, and it's kind of chasing a moving target, and then they retrain them, and stuff changes all the time. It's just a little bit overrated. So I like seeing the results, the swinging strike rate and stuff like that. But those are susceptible to small sample problems, right? Swinging strike rate over a month for a single pitch type isn't really sticky necessarily, while like the stuff plus thing will be sticky. But if it's sticky, great. But is it useful? And I was just kind of looking before. I was looking before I started recording this, and I'm scrambling to get the screen in order here. So here's some Python code myself, which again looks terrible on the screen share. Wish StreamYard could do something better with this. Zoom in a little bit, and it's terrible. Looks terrible. I was just comparing IVB. This isn't stuff plus, it's just IVB, because people talk about IVB a lot, especially with four seamers. And I was looking for the like correlation between IVB and swinging strike rate, and then between IVB on four seamers and expected WOBA allowed on the pitch, and there is none. Like it doesn't. I did the plots, like it doesn't correlate. So I don't know. Like you can be. Maybe I'm just dumb and I haven't studied this enough. But Tristan McKenzie last year had the best IVB on the fastball for any pitcher, and it was a terrible pitch. It was a 5% swinging strike rate and a 470 expected WOBA. That's one example, but it's just like, and again, it's lower velo, so maybe you have to look at them as a combination. Maybe you want high velo, high IVB, but it's just like as soon as if there's no relationship here, then if there's no relationship between IVB and actual like good results, then why would what's it doing for me to get myself back on the screen here? What's it doing for me to like, how am I supposed to use it? I don't know. Like the things I'm looking to use are stats that correlate with success, and IVB doesn't seem to. Maybe it's a multivariate thing, and maybe the Stuff Plus does. Stuff Plus does correlate with strikeout rate like decently well, nothing fantastic. You can have high stuff and not good results. So it's all the stuff I've said before. But to answer the question Zach asked, just like I like to see how they attack different lefties around. I know Zach's not even asking for my opinion anyway, because he's got his own opinion, and I don't think that guy's ever taken anybody's. He guys never like listened to anybody else for anything, but it is a question that I'm interested in. I think some people are interested in the answer. Maybe Zach is too, but yeah, like the pitch mix differences between lefties and righties is cool. And I think Stuff Plus on fastballs at least is something to know, especially for a rookie, right? Like if you got a rookie pitcher coming up and he's got terrible fastball Stuff Plus, that probably means it won't be a great strike earning pitch or a whiff getting pitch. And that's probably enough to downgrade the guy a little bit. But more often, I just like to kind of sit on it, look at the results in the minors, and then just kind of, make a guess. And then after 3 or 4 major league starts, look at some of the actual results. I'm not talking about like how many hits did he give up. I'm talking about swing strikes, ball rates, expected WOBA given up, like how hard is just getting hit and stuff like that. Not necessarily how hard it's getting hit, but the expected WOBA, I like looking at that. And that's worked pretty well for me so far. So very good question by Zach. We'll go to CJ Baseball in mono league auctions. I learned something here. I had to ask him what mono leagues is. That means like NL or AL only. Shout out to people that are still playing those. Sounds fun. Never done one. But I also wonder like if will the National League and American League eventually just combine into one? I guess probably not. It's such like a long history thing. Are you spreading the wealth? So in like AL only or NL only auction leagues, are you the spread the wealth philosophy? Stars and scrubs are more of a pitcher hitter split guy and how the pieces follow how they make. Okay, so can't really even. What's the best way for me to look here? Let's see. How did we go back to that? Now I lost we'll stick it with there. I can't really call myself an auction expert. I've only done a few auction drafts ever, handful, and I've never done an AL or NL only one. I just did a 30-team auction though, so I guess that's kind of similar. And I do think it's important to save money for the end because you get these values, right? Everybody, especially if it's a league where people are kind of new to it and they'll make mistakes, you want to save money to just be able to pick up a bunch of these values. Like you see it in most auctions, right? People will just overspend at the beginning. The studs will go for crazy amounts and guys will kind of be out of money. And then you get the guys that are nominated last, the players that are nominated last, you get massive steals on them. Now, a lot of times by that time, they're not the greatest players, but if your league leaves like some pretty good players for the end, nobody nominates them. And then, 7 of the 10 teams or whatever are out of money, and you can pick up dudes that should go for, you can get $15 players for 5 or 6 just because you're the only one with the money left. So I don't want to spend it all early, but that doesn't mean that you don't, in this kind of league where if you're in an AL only league, Aaron Judge is like so valuable, right? So much better than some of the other dudes, some of the other scrubs that are going to get started. So I like to get a stud, I would say. Again, I'm not the one to ask this question to, but I think is right. You can't just pass up on all the studs. Like there is this big difference between the top guys and the like average guys. There are some of these dudes that just absolutely crush everybody. Ohtani, Judge, Witt, those first rounders. So I don't want to overpay for it. I want to get my auction value. I want to get basically what I think the target thing is worth, use an auction value calculator, add 10% inflation for it or something like that, pay that, and just wait for a stud that'll go for about what he's worth. If it's a pitcher, fine, then build that way. But so it's both. It's not, I think it goes terribly when you buy 2 or 3 of the studs and you're out of money and you can't capitalize on those values late and you end up starting dudes that aren't even like in the major league lineup. So I'm more towards save the money. Like if I have to pick one, I'll just pick up a bunch of values and then you can kind of manage the team from there. Pitcher split, I don't have any difference. I don't know, like hitters work the same as pitchers, right? In terms of the impact on the final standings. So would probably still rather be spending my big bucks on a stud hitter than a stud pitcher because the injury stuff. But yeah, so I didn't even answer the question. Like it's both, but I lean toward making sure I've got some of the most money left after after 100 or 200 or so players are gone. So that's that question. There are many other people that can answer that better than me, see if they agree with me. Blake DeBull, question about roster construction from the 14th pick. If you had picked 14 in a 14-team head-to-head points snake draft, would you double tap Skeens and Scooball if they fell to you, or something else, or do something else like 2 hitters or a pitcher and a hitter? Are there positions you would target like third base? Maybe even grab an elite catcher and Cal Raleigh to pair with a pitcher or another stud hitter. For context, hitters are more valuable. They put up more points. Pitching has a 10-start limit for the week. This is like a little bit too complicated for me, I think. Roster construction from the 14th pick. If you had to pick 14 and a 14. Head-to-head points. Do you take Skeens and Scooball? 14 team, probably. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, those pitcher starts can be massive. They can win your week for you, right? If you get the huge outing from a stud pitcher in a points league, like those pitchers are super valuable in points leagues. But again, and I guess the 10-start limit for the week kind of does make Skeens and Scooball more valuable because you can't just spam in two starters, right? You can't just volume people to death. Some of these points leagues, like there's no limits. You can just start as many starting pitchers and you don't even need them to be good really because most of the time they're getting 10, 15 points. So if you can get 6 more starts a week than your opponent, then you'll win almost every time. But I don't think it's crazy in a points league, Skeens, Scooball, because you'll be just getting so many points from those two every time. And they'll take 3 or 4 of your 10 starts. That's nice. But then with a 14-teamer, you're going to end up with like some really rough hitter situations. That said, I think it's probably a little bit easier to fill in hitter positions in points leagues rather than pitchers, but that's not necessarily true either, I guess. So if it were me, take a pitcher there at 14 if you think they'll be there, and then get one of these big time hitters, get or what would you be looking at? Tucker, Caminero, J-Rod or Carroll if they fall or something like that, and Vlad, Kurtz, Raleigh's there. You did ask about Raleigh. I'm not really going for Raleigh right now. It just seems like a huge buy high, but in a points league, the one thing you can say about Raleigh is even if he falls back, regresses a ton, he'll still be the number 1 catcher. And a lot of people in these leagues, 14-team league especially, will not be getting all that much at catcher, and Raleigh might give you way more. He was a huge cheat code last year just because how much more he was giving you from that spot. But sorry, not a great answer. Just kind of a big question there. Cleveland guy, what are your thoughts on Travis Bazzana and other Guardians prospects that can make an impact at the big league level this year? So, should I pull up Tim's stuff or just let's go to 1 second. Let me remind myself because I'm pretty sure I did the prospect preview Guardians with Tim. This is a question for him. But I'm going to get this. Bear with me here. We think my memory is that. Yeah, so Bazzana is the number 1 prospect for the Guardians. He's a second baseman, so that's nice. I remember Tim talking about this. And he's the former number 1 overall pick. We think he's kind of like a 2020 pace dude. But we don't think he'll make the team out of camp. And I am always just super skeptical about these hitters in the first year of play, right? I mean, the numbers are good with Bazzana. We think he'll be decent. I don't know if we think he'll be a total stud at any point, and it's not going to be first or second month, we don't think. And who knows, maybe if he's struggling a little bit or something like that, you won't see him for a little bit longer than that. Last year, let's see, I think we had an injury with Travis Bazzana. We haven't seen a ton from him. 350 plate appearances last year. I'm struggling, man. This is not high production quality. 813 OPS for Bazzana. Last year, he played AA. He played some in AAA. Hit 246, 25% K rate, 17% walk rate, 430 slug, 813 OPS. Just nothing fantastic. Home run rate was nothing great. It was fine. I mean, he was homering at about a 17, 18 homer a year pace, 11 steals. So I don't think it's going to be a big impact this year. Chase DeLauder can be a big impact this year if he can stay healthy. But like the things we've talked about with him a lot is just like this guy hasn't played a full year of baseball in his life, basically. So I don't think you'll see. The question is, can make an impact. Yeah, you'll see them both. You'll see DeLauder probably opening day as long as he stays healthy. Till then, you're going to see him on the field in 3 weeks, starting in the outfield for them. And he's a good hitter. He's got a funky swing, I guess, but I think he's going to be a pretty nice bat for them right away. Maybe not the fantasy impact with DeLauder, but he can get on base, make some hits. But he's probably going to get hurt, right? Bazzana just seems like middling, kind of seems like a guy that's fine when he gets up, but nothing great. And if there's any like additional struggle, you see the higher strikeout rate there last year in the minors. It's a little bit worrisome. So I don't think either of them are likely to do anything fantastic. If you would probably just not have either of them for fantasy this year, that'd be fine with me. Young like hitting prospects so rarely like work out right away. So you got to be patient. Herb, in an OBP slug 6x6 categories dynasty league, where would you be intrigued in Murakami, or are you in general out on a guy with that below average contact, and what type of rookie you would expect from him? Talked a lot about this actually last night even and with Tim on the shortstop podcast. Murakami's not a shortstop, but we ended up talking about Colson Montgomery, so then we ended up talking about Murakami. Yeah, not a good sign. The contact rates, I think he's going to strike out. Like maybe he'll adjust. He's 25. He's good. He's got big bat speed. But, man, I think it's like a 40% strikeout rate for the first couple months at least, which means the OBP is going to be bad. Sorry, like you can't have a good OBP when you're giving away. There's no chance he strikes out less than a third of the time, right? This spring, it's already been bad. Maybe we shouldn't even say that, because I guess I could look for some other. I could look for a ton of hitters that are striking out a lot this spring, but this is our first look at him against consistent major league pitching. And what we've seen in spring, did we get more data yesterday? Only 13 plate appearances, it looks like. So it's silly to even look at again, but I don't know. He's swung a bunch of, a couple handfuls of time, and he's made contact 56% of the time. And that's basically what we saw in Japan. Big league pitchers get a lot more whiffs than Japanese pitchers. So if he was struggling with that in Japan, he's going to struggle with it here. I wouldn't touch him, man. I know, like, he'll hit some homers. He'll make some highlight reel homers. I bet he'll probably hit a couple. He'll probably hit a ball like 475 feet for a grand slam or something, April 14th, book it. And people will be like, oh, look, here he comes, big breakout. And then you'll look like below it, and he'll be having that 42% strikeout rate. It'll be a really rough start for him. And I don't know. I can't even say that he'll definitely I'm not even saying you just have to be patient and wait it out. Like, I just wouldn't start. I don't know. Just don't mess with it. You can find better options. 10-team head-to-head points league. Question from Jim Slay. With scoring skewed toward homers and walks. Interesting. Three true outcome guys are favored. 2016 breakout candidates that fit this mold. Dang. This is one I would have had to prepare for, right? But let's use the dashboard to answer this. This will be a good way to, not that one. A good way to do a little bit of training on the dashboard. Paid subscribers get access to the MLB Tableau dashboard, which is sick nasty, bro. It's the best tool online. So we're on the hitter page. Again, it's not pretty, not the prettiest thing in the world on your screen. It's actually so not pretty that probably shouldn't even display it, but we'll go to 150 plate appearances. We'll go to a high walk rate. We'll go to a 10% walk rate, and we'll go to a 12% barrel rate. So you like walks, you like home runs. Apparently you don't care that much about strikeouts. So this is kind of a good filter you can put on. It's going to be a bunch of studs at the top, Olsen, Devers, Schwarber, Ohtani, and no one is, I'm not giving you anything useful there, but Willie Adames shows up here, so you upgrade him a little bit. Taylor Ward, pretty nice for this. Strikes out a lot, but walks a lot. You're also looking for lower swing rates in this. That's maybe one little thing you can get an advantage at here. Low swing rates means high walk rates. Ward's one of those guys, 38%, so Taylor Ward. Spencer Torkelson's a nice target here, 327 OBP last year with his 45% hard hit rate, 28% air pull elite. His swing rate was 45%. That's actually what I was meaning to say. So he's pretty patient, takes his walks, hits a lot of balls in the air, which turns into a lot of flyouts, but also turns into a lot of home runs. 217 ISO there, 31 bombs for Torkelson. I'd move him up the first base ranks in this situation. Trent Grisham, a really nice target for you there. 14% walk rate, super low, 39% swing rate. Gets the balls in the air. Yankee Stadium helps a lot. Mike Trout is a really good outcome for this as well. Walks, homers, Trout, I give you him. Even Josh Bell, a little bit sneaky there. Josh Bell, 47% swing rate, so actually a league average swing rate, but still a 10.5% walk rate, low K rate, and got 22 balls out of the park. I mean, he's not a 30-homer threat or anything like that, but Josh Bell, Tyler Stevenson at catcher, Matt Wallner for a little like platoon action on the Twins. He'll play some against lefties, but he's going to crush righties, takes his walks, hits home runs. Batting average is bad, but you don't care that much about that in this league. Roman Anthony, Jake Bauers, part-timer, but Max Muncy as well, big upgrade. Max Muncy on the Dodgers there, high walks, high home runs. So I think I answered that decently well. There you go. And if you're a paid subscriber, Jim, you can go to the dashboard and look for that. Just look for high barrel rates, high walk rates, and then you don't have to care about too much else. Question 7, getting halfway through here. Nope, that was question 7. Question 8. Oh, okay. These are all the same. No. Remove. Did I take the same screenshot over and over again? There we go. Kyle McPadden. Is that a real last name? Or did you McPadden? That can't be a real last name. One catcher league. I'm inclined to wait until the end to get whoever's available, but purely as hitters taking away their position. Where should the top 10 catchers be drafted? Oh, use the auction values then, for sure. If you just want, although auction value calculators do adjust a little bit for catcher, it's not the greatest advice then, because those do kind of put in position things. But you can still do it and get a general feel. Use an auction value calculator. Put in your league settings. It's on the web app for me, but it's also, is it free on Fangraphs? You might need a Fangraphs account. I don't know. Not sure. Is Fangraphs auction calculator free? Good question. But that's the way to do it. I can't answer this off the top of my head. I don't know. That is one of the tougher things, even when doing rankings. Like, I can kind of figure out where Cal Raleigh fits with the rest of the field, but like, where does Yainer Diaz or where does Kyle Teal rank? Like, if you weren't doing positions at all. And these guys tend not to go in best ball, so that kind of gives you an idea that they're just not. It's all relative. Like, if you take away the position stuff, you wouldn't be drafting many catchers at all. But go to the auction value calculator, get the auction values, sort them by that way, and see where those catchers line up. One catcher league, if you said top 10, is this a 10-team league? Like, my advice, and Tim and I talked about it as well, like, just be the last guy to take a catcher. Take Yainer Diaz, take Carter Jensen, take let Raleigh, Contreras. I like Rice, but you can let general advice. Let the top guys go. Look to just be the last guy. Get a really nice price on like Will Smith, Yainer Diaz, Salvi Perez, Drake Baldwin. Or if things really fall apart, you can take a shot with, like I said, Carter Jensen, Kyle Teal, a little bit of breakout potential there. So, the second question you're asking is more of a math question, and you can do that with auction value calculators, as I've said over and over again. I'm going to quit repeating myself. Question 9, Brett Davis, I want to play in an AL and NL only league apiece, 8 teams in the league, live draft, low dollar league. Is there a good site for this? There is reddit.com/r/find a league. Is that still going? I've used that a couple times in the past. Try to avoid Reddit these days. Fantrax has a lobby. Fantrax is the best place for fantasy leagues, no doubt about it. They've got like a forum you can go find people to play against. They've got open leagues. They've got all kinds of different settings and league types. You can definitely do AL, NL only. Like, this is a pretty specific ask, so you might not have the easiest time, but yeah, there's a Reddit page for it. I believe the Pitcher List Discord or something has a find a league situation. Their Discord sounds pretty good. Not in it, not paid subscriber over there, but I've heard about that. Plenty of places to go find a league, so hopefully that helps you, but not always the easiest thing to find low dollar entry for very specific leagues. Like the AL and NL only stuff's typically some pretty hardcore dudes. Good luck, Brett. Question 10, Brandon McAllery. Why pay a premium for Nico Horner when Jose Caballero will provide similar counting stats at multiple positions and more playing time as Volpe recovers? He's not going to play more than Horner. I don't know if that's what, like, more than he'll play more right away. He'll play every day right away. As I've said, I like Caballero. The reason to pay the premium for Horner over, it's a good question, right? Like, Caballero, I've thought about making fun of you for spelling his name wrong, but I won't, even though I just did. He might not play every day after Volpe gets back, right? Like, what if McMahon's having a nice season at third, and what if, Jazz is at second? Their outfield is not bad. At least, I don't know. Caballero could definitely end up just as a bench dude that only starts 2-3 times a week. Can't happen to Horner. So there's your answer. But for like April, cost considered, like, yeah, I'm all about drafting Jose Caballero later on in your draft, taking the steals that he'll give you in April. And I do think there's a good chance he plays a lot because, like you said, plays all over the diamond, takes one injury to pretty much anybody, and he fills in somewhere, right? And maybe he just does. Maybe he's just better than McMahon. Maybe he's better than Volpe. I think Volpe's going to be in there, but maybe he's better than McMahon. Maybe he's the third baseman. I like Caballero, but I like Horner too. I just don't think Caballero is safe enough playing time all season to be like, I don't need this steals guy early. I'll take him, because there's no guarantee with him. Like, Horner is definitely in that lineup. He's at the top of the Cubs lineup every day. Can't say that about Caballero, so just more risk there, but good point. Jeffro, what player currently going undrafted will absolutely end up a top 10 player this season? Hitter edition. Yeah, of course. Now, if I knew this, would I even say it? Yeah, I would say it. So undrafted, I don't know, what does that mean? This is a like tongue-in-cheek question. It's a funny question, bro, for sure. Obviously, do I even need to say like the obvious thing that nobody? That's the absolute answer. Absolutely end up as a top 10 player this season. That'd be a cop out. You want me to guess, but I can't say. I can't guarantee anything. So we're looking outside the top 350 ADP the last couple months. Top 10s. I mean, nobody here is going to have that kind of upside, right? If they had top 10 upside in any universe, they wouldn't be undrafted. They'd be at least in the mid 200s or something like that. It's probably some rookie, right? It's probably Aiden Miller or some, like, I don't know, who are the big hitter? Who's this year's Nick Kurtz that nobody was really paying attention to during draft season and is now almost a top 10 guy. So I can give you, Connor Griffin is, I guess he's not going undrafted though, so that doesn't fit that. Really brutal question, bro. I'll give you a Bryce Eldridge and Aiden Miller, because this is most often young players that get the playing time and make an improvement, and they're not being drafted because people don't know if they'll play a lot. But if it happens, it'll be a rookie, someone you haven't seen much of right now. Aiden Miller, Bryce Eldridge. Maybe Bryce Eldridge gets traded to the Reds or something, right? Like, that would set him up. I still don't think he's ever a top 10 pick. What was about the steals? Like, a top 10 pick is really hard to be. Maybe let's see, who are like the 2026 top prospects in baseball? Maybe there's somebody in like that's a top prospect in that you don't think will play this year. Maybe it's Jesus Mate, right? 18-year-old, and he's not going to make it this year. Leo DeVry. A lot of these top prospects are like so young it can't be next year. Samuel Basayo, he's not going undrafted though. Max Clark, I'd give you Max Clark as well. He's not going to get drafted in most leagues, and he's got crazy steals upside and some power. So he's in Double A already. So we'll probably see him this year. So that's a decent answer too. But my answer here is always going to be the rookies that break in. You're not getting even like the other dudes down here outside of the top 350. Like Victor Robles, Manga Meyer, Jonathan India, Volpe. Volpe's actually not a bad answer for this. Nolan Gorman, like, these dudes can all crush these prices, but they have nothing like first round upside. So sorry, I'm gonna, I can't give you the absolute answer on that one. CJ Baseball, Pepio, Gore, Williams, Eovaldi, and Trevor Rogers. How do you rank in an AL only Roto League? My ranks, I could just go look at my ranks, I guess, but I think it's Trevor Rogers first. I think it's Mackenzie Gore second. I think it's Ryan Pepio third, and those three are all pretty close. And then a pretty big step down to Nathan Eovaldi, and then a step down to Gavin Williams. So I'd go Rogers, Gore, Pepio, Eovaldi, Williams. Don't really want Eovaldi because the injuries, just so many injuries late last year, just don't see him staying healthy. Gavin Williams could crush these guys. He could be the top guy here for sure. He has the stuff, but he's never had the command. So I'm not. A lot of people are betting on him having better command after adding a sinker or whatever it was last year. I'm not really into it. So Rogers, Gore, Pepio, Eovaldi, Williams. Like Trevor Rogers, really like Mackenzie Gore. Gore has the highest upside of the class for sure. I would take a lot of those first three. Good core there. Rogers, Pepio, Gore, three of my favorite pitchers to draft this year. So that was an easy one to answer. Question 13, Keishel or McLean? It's going to be McLean for me. Take a stab at it. Keishel is safer because he will probably get on base more, or at least it's a more sure thing. But the upside seems to be McLean. I don't really believe in Keishel's upside. I don't think he's more than like an 8 to 10 homer guy. McLean could go 2020. I don't want to be, I should probably, it would have been interesting to see if we lived in alternate universes where you could have asked me this question a week ago before McLean has been going off in spring, because that shouldn't change anything, right? But it's hard for it not to. He's hitting 500, 3 homers in spring, a slugging over 1,000, but that shouldn't matter at all. But he's always been a 2020 threat. And he's going to play at second base. His ADP is on the move up. So I would take him just for the upside. Like McLean could definitely return like a top 30 hitter season, where I don't think that's in the cards at all ever for Keishel. Just not enough power there. So you didn't give me much information there. If you just want like the safe dude, or if you want the guy I would take in like a draft and hold roto league, it's definitely Keishel for the safety. But overall, I'll take McLean's upside. Last one. This is a silly one. It was actually in the mailbag, so I have to answer it. John, not even myself, I swear this wasn't my question. We've seen both your pool basketball and driveway basketball prowess compared to the average guy. Where are you more dominant? I can't swim very well, so it would have to be driveway. Not a physical guy, right? Like anybody bigger than me will probably find a way to beat me in one-on-one, but I can move, I can dribble, and I can shoot a little bit. Nothing great, but yeah, swimming is probably a weak spot of mine. Actually, I'm okay at it now, but I legit couldn't swim till I was 13. My kids learned to swim at 3 and 4 years old. My daughter was swimming at 5 years old better than I could before I had turned like seriously 16. Like 16-year-old me swimming versus my 5-year-old daughter, she gets the nod there. Now, not anymore. I have figured it out. I can swim decently well now, but was never a water guy, and it's my parents' fault. Any problem you have as an adult, you always blame on your parents. So they just didn't make me swim, so their fault. But I'm not signing up for any tournaments in either. I'm not a great basketball player. I'm just too small and too shrimpy and too like afraid of too non-aggressive. I'm just like the most passive dude. So, but like coordination wise, hand-eye, and like dribbling a basketball and like looking like I know what I'm doing, I'm pretty good at that. I'd say like 70th percentile athlete when you're talking about that kind of stuff, like coordination, looking decent when playing sports. Like I feel pretty good about it. So that's it. I did all this on Twitter. Maybe that's the move, but that was a lot of questions. We did this for 50 minutes. I should probably go see what's going on with my work email. So that's it. Thanks for the questions. Next time, go to mlbdatawarehouse.com/p/mailbag. Submit them there, and we'll do this again next week if we have some. Goodbye.